Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have another video. Let's thank our members first over Lenny 11B and Cuts for being the full crew members, all the Foxpad members and Fishpad members. Thank you, it helps a lot. You have no idea, make sure to subscribe and join our Discord. Link is in the description. So today we are going to talk a little bit about it, about the J-7E, an aircraft that it's considered by a lot of people being the best fighter in War Thunder, which I completely disagree, and I wanted to talk a little bit about it. Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad aircraft, but it is kind of team dependent, and it is, if it's used correctly, you will get a lot of 6-7 kills games, but that doesn't mean that it's the perfect fighter. I think for being considered the best fighter in the game, it should be able to do, at least in a fairly good manner, kind of everything, you know, as a fighter. So it needs to do BVR, it needs to do dogfight, it needs to have great missiles and a great cannon, it needs to have a lot of countermeasures, it needs to be fast, it needs to be fast accelerating, you know. So some of these the J7 has, some of these it doesn't. So for example, I think uh, much rather like it's much rather to the missile capabilities of this aircraft than for the aircraft itself that it's that good, you know. The only thing that it really stands out in the sense of performance is the turn ratio of the aircraft, and as I said, the missile. Everything else is kind of mediocre, to be honest. You don't have a lot of flares or chaff. You don't have a proper radar. You don't have BVR. You only have 4 missiles. You have I mean, it's a good cannon, but I like the cannon, but it's low ammunition. It's not for everybody. So there's all these factors. There are all these factors that you have to just consider, and there are many aircraft that are, I mean, they tick more of these boxes. One of the obvious examples is the F-14, obviously. Another one is for example, the Mirage 2000 right now at it. Another one is the MLD, that I think it's a very good aircraft. Some of the F4s. So yeah, but even then they have their problems as well. There's no perfect fighter, at least not now. Once we get to like proper 4th generation aircraft for all nations, we will see some aircraft that are perfect, almost perfect, like the F-15, like the MiG-29, like the Su-27, as I always say. So there are some aircraft that they're very close to this ticking all the boxes, you know. But the J7, it doesn't. Like I said, it only has turn, and it only has the missiles. That's the like what it stands out from this aircraft. Does it mean that it needs better missiles for to compensate against other things? I would say no right now, not. It doesn't need to, you know. But once stuff like I said, MiG-29s, F-15s, more 4th generation aircraft comes to the game, because we have kind of a BR compression, and we know that, I mean, the F-14 is already at 11.3, so and MiG-29 will be 11.3 as well. The F-15 will probably be 11.3 as well. And with that, there's some aircraft that will need to lower its BR, which kind of becomes a problem, you know. If you lower a BR for something like this, it will completely stomp everything on a 10.3, 10.0 situation. So just lowering the BR and even compressing a little bit more, it's not the answer, you know. The answer would make it so that, so if we don't see a decompression of the BRs, we see leveling of the performance of the aircraft. Here we have an example of these, you know. The team was the USA against a lot of countries, and as you see, we are being slaughtered here. I mean, doesn't matter how many guys I try to kill or how many missiles I evade, my team is getting stomped, and there is like 5 F-14s coming at me. One F-14 is already kind of tough to beat. 5 of them at the same time, and all these other aircraft. So what do you do to fight against that? I mean, the F-14 is just one of the 4th generation aircraft that will be in the game right now and in the future. We will see, the more we go to the future, the more of these aircraft we will see. And aircraft like these, as I said, due to the BR compression and the nature of the game, we'll need, since we cannot lower its BR, we will need better missiles. Basically, that's the kind of the only way to actually deal with that. Right now, it doesn't need to. Right, the PL-5B is one of the best missiles in the game, IR. It is not all aspect, but against an F-14, it kind of becomes almost all aspect. So it depends on what you're fighting, as always. But the speed of the missile, together with the range and the turning capabilities, it's a very, very capable missile. But if you are facing MiG-29, for example, this will be not enough. So once we get there, we can maybe get the PL-8, which is the Python 3, or even a different version of the PL-5, like the PL-5E, which is an all-aspect version of the PL-5. Which sounds scary, to be honest, because, you know, PL-5, all-aspect, which is... But, yeah. So, I think there are specific aircraft right now that should receive better missiles, as I always say. I did some videos about it, like the F4F, there's the British F4s. I think the MLD could receive it, maybe not right now, but like we are not far from being alright to add it. There are some other aircraft that need to, you know. The J7 right now, it's not one of those, but it will be soon. You know, it's not. I mean, it's still a MiG-21, a very heavily modified MiG-21, but it's still a MiG-21. So the capabilities of it is just, it has its limit, and it's getting close to its limit. And the only thing that we can get that will change the way that it flies, and or something like that, or not the way that it flies, but the performance of the aircraft will be the missiles, you know. So yeah, I think it's a consideration. As I said, it's not by far the best aircraft in the game. I think, for example, in my MLD or the F-14, the J7 is not even a consideration when I face it, to be honest. I just kill it from 10 kilometers with a BVR missile. And if the guy just evades the missile, you can always run and try to get him on a dogfight. The dogfight capabilities of this aircraft is very good, but it doesn't mean that it's invulnerable. So yeah, an MLD, an F-14, a Mirage 2000, they can beat this aircraft on a dogfight. So yeah, I don't think it's by far the best aircraft in the game, but I understand why a lot of people like it. It's like I always say, the F5, the Harrier GR7 that I talked to you about this week on the GR7 video again, and the J7, they're aircraft that they're easy to fly. You know, they don't have a lot of fancy systems, and they have a very, very good missile, which means that you can just get into the game and play the game, and you will get kills. It's not something possible that you have to learn how to use a radar or a pulse Doppler or something like that, you know. So it's not a matter of the aircraft being just OP or being the best fighter in the game. It's just a matter of being easy to fly, to be honest. And I think a lot of players still they are reminiscent of the old ways when we didn't have BVR. I know a lot of people even will say that BVR is not even a factor right now, but it is, man. It is very much a factor, and the more we go to the future, the more of a factor it will be, and the more dangerous aircraft that have good radars and good missiles in BVR will be. You know, an aircraft like this, they will be less and less and less effective. One of the obvious ones that we are going to see in the near future probably, and it will be not that good depending on the not that we will be, I mean it's going to be good, but it won't have BVR if they choose a kind of variant. It's the F-16, you know. Initially the F-16 didn't have any BVR, and with that we can like kind of see in a pattern in the same way. It will play in the same way as an F5 or a J7, you know. It will be a very good aircraft, but it's not going to be OP. It's not going to beat all the other F4th generation aircraft that are coming, probably in the future. So I don't know. I think it all comes down to the play style that you like. I know a lot of friends, as I was saying, the majority of player base of the game, I still think it's kind of reminiscent of trying to learn BVR. We are getting there, as you see with the F14s, but I see a lot of people doing mistakes as well. Like I see some people like just firing 6 Phoenixes from spawn and then returning to base and getting more 6 Phoenixes with the F14. So that makes me think that people are trying to actually do BVR, but they're not having the, not that I have, but the theory behind it to actually be effective on it. But it is the first step. The more we go into the future, as I said, the more people will try to learn these other types of killing, you know, in BVR and missiles and stuff like that, because a lot of people think it's just locking and firing a missile, but it's much more than that. If you just do that, you will lose a lot of missiles and not kill anything, and you will die a lot for BVR missiles. So it is a kind of a more of a strategy game than the dogfight, but still it is a skill game, still. So yeah, these are the reasons that I don't consider the J7 a very the top of the line of the fighters in the game, and I will always think that no fighter that it doesn't have all these boxes that I said before will be like a major player, an actual major player. They normally will be just very effective in the right hands, but normally just that, you know. Effective in the right hands, but it doesn't mean that it's OP or anything like that, which is a good thing, obviously. And obviously, it's a good thing that in the sense of, um, I think it's good that we have different types of game styles and gameplay ways to play the game. So, yeah. So, you do you if you like the J7 or the F5 or stuff like that, but I don't think it's the best aircraft in the game. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. And as you see, the games were pretty hard to win today. A lot of BVR and stuff like that, but yeah. See ya guys, bye.